get Austin on. I'd say that 5 times fast. Austin, awesome, Austin, awesome, a lot. Hey, brother, I appreciate you taking time for us, and I appreciate what you guys do for the agents and how simple you make it. And that's really what I want people to understand, guys. Annexus is going to make it. They're making it simple for you. They've got killer products, and I don't want to. I don't want to feel like I'm throwing shade at any carriers because that's not my style. But and Austin knows this. There's some carriers that make it about daggum impossible for a new agent to write an annuity with them. It's like, well, you have to write business before you can talk to our customer service people. It's like, they basically want you to grab up in the chicken and pull the egg out before. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. So, Austin, introduce yourself. Talk to us a little bit. I want to be able to take questions. Shane, what would be a good way to do that?
I'll just let you know. I'll watch the YouTube chat and I'll tell you.
All right, Chandler's going to watch the YouTube chat, and then so if you're on the YouTube, pop in the chat. You got questions for Austin? I'm sorry. Or Discord. Yeah, or Discord, or the YouTube chat for all the. And this is our agent audience, Austin. So, whatever questions you guys got, let's get them asked and answered while we've got an expert on the line with us. So, Austin, I'm gonna sit here and listen to you for a little bit because I want you to tell them all about Annexus and what you guys can do for them.
Perfect. Well, first I had to make sure I was on the right call. The last time I saw you, you had long wavy hair down to your back. Handing out some miracles.
Nobody appreciates how hard it is to grow hair, you know? Did you see the sweat coming down my face? That wig.
You guys just did such a fantastic job at those things. It was so good. You guys were so on point, and talk about getting a message across in such a fun way. It was awesome.
Oh, appreciate it, brother.
It was so good. Yeah, I appreciate it. And the energy across the alliance is phenomenal. You guys are part of an amazing organization. I mean, I've been doing this for over 20 years, 8 years with Annexus. So I've done the conventions with the Raymond James and the UBSs in the past. And I'll tell you, there's just nothing like going to a convention where, you know, the person sitting next to you is there to help support you. And it really is one of those, rising tide lifts all boats kind of situation. So you are a part of something very special. And like Steven said, we actually are part of Integrity as well as the Alliance. So we're a partner. And I think we do a good job of building our products. I'll get into that for just a second here, but I think we do a good job of building our products to kind of feel a little bit more like it's on your side of the table and on the client side of the table. So when I mention some of the features that we do that other annuities just don't do, you'll kind of go, oh yeah, I wonder why others don't do that. It just, like, why wouldn't I want it to do that, right? And most importantly too is at the end of this call, this is just going to be a quick overview of what we do. You know, please, Steven, if you guys have questions you want me to jump in on certain things, I'm going to do a really quick overview of a couple of our products and be able to talk a little bit more about like how to get set up, the conversations, things I've seen out there that just make it easier for agents, right? There's two sides of this. There's one of the working in the business. So if you haven't done an annuity yet, let's talk a little bit about how easy it can be to actually start one. And then let's also talk about working on the business. And how do we get our agents to understand that these products fit right alongside everything else we have so we can get them up and running? I mean, to see those weekly commissions and those paychecks, Steven, I mean, the faster you can get people to do business, the longer they're going to last, man. And that's a big thing. I mean, time cannot replicate a lot of things in our industry. And you see it over and over again, people that just explode, they're going along, they're doing good. And then, the phone just rings sometimes and somebody wants to talk to you because you treated somebody right, you did the right thing. And not everybody's going to just throw stuff at you after one meeting, right? Sometimes it takes a month, sometimes it takes a year or two. But when that stuff starts happening, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, right? So we'll talk a little bit more about keeping your clients engaged with the products too, because that's just as important as, yeah, you make the sale, but let's also talk about ways where you can take the product, go back to the client and say, hey, remember, this is what I've done for you. These are the things that we've done with your product. Who do you know that might be able to use this, right? And so that's a big thing. Let me just share really quick. Let's see. It's kind of hopping me around. Where's just my screen? Let's start with There it is. Let's see if this will work. Can you guys see my screen? I have my PowerPoint up there. It does. So this is going to be very, very fast, okay? But with Annexus, the thing you guys have to remember is that we are a product development firm. That's the thing that we do that makes us really different. So you don't really have to remember the name Annexus as long as you know that that's what's backing your product and what's created it and driven it. That's the big thing. It's our strategic partners. Those are the ones that are going to have those names that your clients are going to recognize. So when you guys get off this call, I want you guys to be fired up knowing that Annexus is behind these and it's doing something different. And then when you walk in the client's door, you can say, hey, I've got a nationwide product that does this and this and this, right? I've got a North American product that does this and this. And that's going to be one of those things that just, takes your trust level, to such a high thing, to such a high level. But with the Nexus from an industry on the inside, people know who we are, but clients don't necessarily, right? I always talk about like Shelby and Ford, AMG and Mercedes. If you said, I'm going to go to the Shelby dealership and get a car, I'm going to go to the AMG dealership and get a car. So there's going to be non-car people are going to go, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, it's a Mercedes car with just a bigger engine. It's a Ford with just a bigger engine, right? And that's who a Nexus is. Like, oh, it's a nationwide product, but just with a bigger engine. So our strategic partners that we've made these connections with. I mean, you're talking about some of the biggest academics in the industry. I love Professor Jeremy Siegel. If you just look him up, on CNBC, you want to talk about a guy that's got some serious energy in the markets. And you can just tell he's very passionate about what he does. He's helped create an index with this. Professor Robert Schiller, you've seen the CAPE ratio, cyclically adjusted PE ratio. This is all market stuff we don't need to spend time with the clients on, right? But these are the guys that have helped build the indexes inside of a lot of our products. And so you're talking about people that have stamped their name on some of the indexes that we have. And then you just look at overall the relationships that we built across the industry and people that we use. I mean, again, nationwide, North American, American funds, Athene. We built a product for Athene before Athene was Athene, right? But look at this, like New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ, we actually have a really close relationship with the stock exchange. And maybe we can work on something, Stephen, where we get some type of competition together and do like a tour of that because we do take folks up there to the New York Stock Exchange, and they've helped us with a lot of different indices that we've built. But you can see these names, and again,
Austin,
it's just yes,
Austin,
sir.
say that part again because I just like about jumped out of my chair.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So not only is it the New York Stock Exchange, but it's the indexes that we work with the exchange on. And so we have this relationship with them that allows us to do certain events up there
Oh my
where
God,
you
dude,
actually can
dude,
go
dude!
up.
Like, look, I don't want to interrupt the presentation, but my brain's going crazy. Let's you and me connect on that and see what we would need to do to make something like that happen. That
Yeah,
would be
exactly.
that would be it. Oh my gosh, that would be awesome. All right, keep going. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. I'm gonna be quiet.
Hey man, it's worth it, right? Like to get up there and see that gavel pounding down and that bell ringing up there is a pretty dang cool thing, right? And even our office, Stephen, we're working with some of the hot spots. I mean, our home office is here in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we've got a beautiful, beautiful boardroom. Not as exciting as New York Stock Exchange, but for those hot spots and meetings like that we bring people out to, working with Gina and doing some of those things up at our office as well as like a team retreat, come up, do some annuity workshop stuff, but also see an integrity partner in what we do in our offices. Pretty cool. And again, pretty quick, just rush through this. This is product development. I mean, these are things that we've brought to the indexed annuity world. So if you see it in other products, we were the first to do it. Uncapped crediting strategies. Why limit what the client can get? Okay. Why put that trampoline in the basement where you're going to be hitting your head? Let's get that thing outside. And if we have good markets, let's go. Tracking values daily. That is huge. When I talk about it being on your guys' timeline and not the carrier's timeline, that is something that's very unique to indexed annuities in the fact that You run blind. You got to wait a year or two before you know what's going on. You don't get any credits or anything. But Nexus said, why would we do that? You can see everything else in the market. Why can't I see my indexed annuity? So you can see that inside of our products and crediting gains to date. Again, if you have a period of 2 years where you just have to go, and then 2 years later, the insurance carrier tells you what your indexes have done, if that client passes away in 1 year and 11 months, everything they've earned up to that point is gone. They go back almost 2 years. With us, you can see it, and that's the beneficiary's value that goes to them. It's a big deal. These 2, 3, 4 year strategies, think about a CD at a bank. If you go and you buy a CD for 1 year, okay. If you go 3 years, you're just simply going to get paid more because you're holding it longer. So if I can't see my value inside of the product, how long do I want to go without seeing my value? Right? Well, Annexus can show you that. So let's give you the 3, 4, 5 year time frames and crank up those rates inside of the products to get your clients the most money in their pocket when it's all said and done. Right? A daily high point, I'll talk about that with Nationwide. Again, it's daily. It's not an annual staircase looking thing, right? And then this one was our new one, our 4-in-1 benefits rider. We'll talk a little bit about that. I should say the exclusive distribution. I think one thing that's important is that you guys are part of a group. Our products are not out there for everybody. Okay, so these just aren't anybody and everybody can get them. So we do have exclusive distribution, and you are part of that. So it does, again, resonate saying that you have Nationwide, but at the same time, not everybody has this New Heights Select. And hopefully you guys can see that transition, right? The New Heights Select product. So you can't see that one. Cool. Gotcha, gotcha. There we go. How about that one? Cool. Again, real quick, we're just going to talk conceptually. So 7-time the number one FIA with a guaranteed roll-up. Okay, 7-time in a row, this product in the industry has been the number one selling income FIA with a guarantee. 7 times in a row. That's huge, right? Now, when I show you this, take ownership of this. Like, hooray for Annexus, hooray for Nationwide, right? It's hooray for you guys. I mean, this is a product you are taking into the client's home. And remember, Nationwide, as much as clients may hate you for getting the jingle and Peyton Manning stuck in their head and waking up in the middle of the night, right? That is a name that people know. What I didn't know was that it's a top 100 company in the United States, and it's larger than Nike, McDonald's, Starbucks. I mean, that's pretty cool. And they're A+ rated. So if anybody asks, well, what if the insurance carrier, isn't around? It's like, this is over 100 years of doing business. Think of all the stuff that they've had to deal with, and yet their credit rating's right at the top. So and again, that's an easy question to kind of shoot off to the client is, it just it's just not going to happen. They actually have over $6 to every $1 in obligation, meaning that if every single client decided to just turn their stuff in, they would still have $5 for every $1 that went out the door left over. That's pretty incredible, right? Now, this is big news. Looking to do a bigger launch call on this. Simple numbers here. So again, backing this out, how many times on our product trainings do we want to learn a little bit more and get into the weeds? But then we also have to stop and say, what does the client actually need to know, right? Your leaders are excellent at this stuff. So we got to be able to stop for a second and say, let's not dive into all this crazy stuff. Let's keep it as simple as possible. Look at this. I mean, 30% bonus, 9.5% guarantee roll up. That's on the income side for up to 12 years. And you can more than triple the client's income base to 380% guaranteed if they hold it for that full 12 years. That's it. And then you get a lifetime paycheck based off of those numbers that you can never outlive. We always talk about, Stephen, all the objections and, hey, what do you do if a client says this? What do you do if a client says that? And those are all very important to be prepared for. I also say, hey, get your mindset in when you walk in that door, that when you say, I can do this, it's with this company. Do you want protection? How much can you lose in your retirement and still be comfortable? And they say, I'd like to lose none. There are more than a few times that clients are going to go, okay, I don't need to hear anything else. I asked you what time it was, and you told me. You didn't start explaining how the watch works, right? And there are a lot of times where our clients they don't want to have to sit there and worry if the market's going to go up or down tomorrow when they're 70 years old trying to figure life out, right? And you're able to give these numbers as guarantees. This isn't what if. This isn't, hey, this is what it's done. Let's cross our fingers and hope it happens. You can literally tell your client in 12 years the paycheck that they'll get for the rest of their life guaranteed if they wait that long. By the way, they can take income after just the first year. That's it. So you get a 30% bonus, and on that day, you get a 9.5% guarantee every year. Here's what's important though. And again, this goes back to you guys and putting it on your timeline. This is a daily accrual. So I'm going to teach this slide in two different ways. First, let's talk about a client that comes to you and wants to turn on income. This product is giving you 4,380 highest days in the market, right? Every single day. Guess what? On Easter, your clients got a raise in their income if they were waiting. Good Friday, they got a raise. 4th of July, they're going to get a raise. That's pretty cool. And again, you can show that to them. So in this product, let's say the client comes to you in 2 years, 7 months, and 9 days. In 2 years, 7 months, and 9 days, they're going to get that value. And why shouldn't they? They're paying their fee for the rider. Why should they not get the maximum up to the day that they take it? Whereas other carriers look like a staircase, right? You wait a year, you get your next set. You wait a year, you get your next set. Now, that's in that example. So every single day the client defers, their income is going to be a little bit higher guaranteed. What if this is just simply a review? What if that's all it is, right? I'm telling you guys right now, if you had this product when the tariffs and all this crazy stuff is going down, the market's getting beat up again today, when you're able to call your clients and say, "Hey, got some good news for you. You haven't lost a dollar on your accumulation." In fact, in 2022, I love the way that this is like this product outperformed the S&P by over 20%. So a lot of times we talk zero's our hero. You don't lose any money. Yeah, right? And everybody goes, what about the S&P? S&P, okay, that's just weird question, right? This is a different type of product than the S&P. You're mixing and matching things that don't make sense. But if you put it that way, it's like, I have got no risk. So if you want to talk about it, I outperformed the S&P in 2022 by over 20%. What do you want, what do you want to say? Right? And again, if the client's like, well, I'd like to trade Bitcoin with every single dollar of my retirement, okay, maybe you're not the right client for me, right? I mean, it's almost like, hey, do you need term insurance? Sure, Evil Knievel. It's like, yeah, maybe it's not for you, right? Okay. But you're going to get more than a few clients. And so when you're able to call that client in times like this and go, hey, guess what? You didn't lose a dollar today in your accumulation and your death benefit, but remember, we got you that guaranteed every single day with your income. You're actually up a little bit today versus the rest of the market. And if I call you tomorrow and you log into your account, you're going to see that value's a little bit higher. A little tip for you guys, when you get into this product and somebody comes in for a review, call them a week later and pick up the phone and say, hey, did we miss anything? Was there any questions out there? I just thought I'd follow up with you. Oh yeah, and by the way, remember when I said that you're always getting a daily raise in your income? It's only been a week, but it's this much higher than it was when we met. Right? Remember, if you know coworkers, people that could use something like this, what a great way to just stamp that one single point home. Guaranteed to go up tomorrow while you're waiting. You think, I love this. Like, we're not sending our insurance policies flowers on the anniversary date. We're not waking up every morning and having a cup of coffee and snuggling with our insurance policies, right? Sometimes it's our job to remind our clients what we do for them. And so even though this sale has been made, you can really bounce this off and use it as a fantastic way to stay in front of your clients. And guess what? Your clients are going to have new rollovers all the time coming in, right? They're going to have family members. And like I said, not everybody's going to send you referrals after 6 hours of meeting. But as time goes on, man, to be able to just hammer this home, you're going to get a lot of business just by having this in your portfolio. So again, like I said, really quick and dirty on that one. And then last one, I think this will help. I've seen a ton of business come across on this one with your guys' estate planning. Again, when you guys are locking those estate planning conversations in and you're uncovering those assets, like I said, to be able to tell a client, look, you've got this money over here. Let's talk about some options. There's nothing wrong with sitting there and saying, you got 400,000. I did 400 in the nationwide. I did 400 in the North American. I did 400 in the North American, accelerator. Let's talk about levels like a soundboard in a producing studio, right? Like if you know the client's guaranteed income is going to be a certain amount, and the client says, "Well, I'd like to be 28,000 per year." Okay, great. You lower that thing down to 240,000 and then you crank up the others and say, well, if I can lock in 28,000, let's maybe look at an accumulation annuity to pull your vacation money from or something like that, right? You can mix and match these and create a more dynamic annuity portfolio, and we can help with that. Reach out. That's my job. Stephen, I'm sure you love this when somebody calls you and goes, Stephen, I know you're really busy. I hate to bother you, but can you help me build my business? And it's like, yes, I'm happy to. It's my job, right? Please call me, call me, call me. And we've done some really cool things off of these estate plannings, and it's about getting you guys set up with these, understanding them, and then also working through the process, getting you ready for your meetings, understanding what little pieces to talk about. I mean, how easy is it to say, I've got a great product. I'm getting ready to go meet this client with it. I don't know every little piece, but I don't have to because I've got my annuity specialist in the background that's going to help me going forward, right? So it's great. North American, like I said, I just want to jump into this really quick, and then we'll stop because I really want to hear more from the crowd. This plus version, guys, North American Secure Horizon Plus, this is supposed to go down to 20%. Oh, boo-hoo, you only get a 20% premium bonus, right? But it's at 22 right now if you can get it signed. I know a lot of folks have been getting some stuff in the works right now. And then we'll talk about this 4-in-1 retirement benefits rider. So think about the difference. In the nationwide, you're getting an income-based bonus of 30% and 9.5 guaranteed. Okay? So that is to calculate future income. This premium bonus is over here on the accumulation value. That's what we call walk-away dollars. If the client's done with this in 10 years, that 22% goes with them, okay? But the cool thing about this particular product is this rider. So again, this side is getting the 22% bonus, and then all we're doing is simply doubling the returns to that side of the product. Okay, and then I'm going to show you what it goes towards. 100 goes in, 22 bonus. Let's say you make 100,000 in accumulation. You get your 122 over here in this bucket, but you're doubling your returns. So 322,000, that's pretty cool, right? So what is that going towards? What am I going to use the 322 towards? One of these four. You guys, you get all four of these on day one. And then in the future, the client chooses how they want to use that bigger bucket. Okay. Social Security reduction. It's out there. It's cool that it's in this product. Some clients may bring it up, but a lot of times that's not the single reason that they would own it. But remember, they don't have to commit to any one of four of these, right? I'll skip this one for just a second because it's huge. Leaving a legacy. Like I said, if you're able to create a diversified portfolio and you got the client's income over here, you got some accumulation, and then you do the plus version, this client may be wanting to just leave a bigger bucket of money to their kids, to their grandkids, right? What a great way to use it. And this is also your default. So God forbid something happens before you get a chance to choose, you still get the enhanced death benefit to your beneficiaries. Okay. And then enhanced payout. This is like a great way. Think of that like a complement to Nationwide where you're 70, 75, 80, you're healthy, you're living at home, and you could use a raise. Pretty cool. This one though, guys, you talk about the estate planning and working this part into it. This is your activities of daily living. So if you have 322,000, you just simply divide that by 7 years, and it's going to pay that huge bucket out if the client's got activities of daily living. No, you don't have to keep receipts. They don't have to find the certified hospital. There's no 180 out of 250 days. This is just simply 206 and a doctor's note. It can be living at home. You could be having your family come in just because you're having some trouble getting in and out of the shower and dressing yourself or feeding, just simple things that maybe you're not full on long-term care yet, but you've got this. If there's anybody on this call that is having issues with underwriting with some of those other products, use part of the client's retirement money. Set that aside. Hey, by the way, we didn't get you this policy, but I got another option for you to help you out, right? And all these are great. Like I said, what if the health benefit doesn't happen? What if this is why they purchase it? That's okay. They still got the others that they can use it for. And then worst case scenario, guys, I think is really important to remember this when you're selling it, is that you're going to be talking about these areas in the future. Remind your clients it's still accumulation. They still have the ability to get into this when they want to. So still can dip into it in the future without actually turning one of these on. They still have access to it. So don't let them think that it's locked in unless they get sick, right? It's not. You still have access to this, but we want this to build up as big as possible for this event. And then lastly, what about those clients that are maybe a little bit younger, 30s, 40s? Maybe you're not talking income, you're not talking health benefits, but you're just trying to diversify. This is a great product for just accumulation. No bells and whistles, no nothing. You just protect them from the market downturns. A lot of times you're going to hear the younger folks say, well, shouldn't I be a little more aggressive? Yeah, absolutely. That's what we do. Let me show you how. And they're going to go, what do you mean? It's like, well, we use this in conjunction and as a complement to the rest of what you have. If you're young, take those chances elsewhere and let's figure out how much you want to put in and get a big bonus and get that protection. But it also allows you to go out and continue to be aggressive when you're younger, right? Don't fight them on it. Don't say, no, you don't want to be trading Bitcoin. You want to be in an indexed annuity. They're going to go again. Yeah, right. And say, hey, let me show you how to be more aggressive so you're not putting everything towards one area. And then as we continue to work together, maybe you make a ton of money and we peel a little bit more away and protect it for you in the future. No big deal. Super easy. And again, think of this like a stepping stone. If somebody's 35 in 10 years, you've been working with them, they're just 10 years closer to retirement and you look at a new product at that time, right? And this does work great for clients that are older as well. So it's not just the younger, but this is the one option I would use for younger clients for accumulation only. But what if you have a client that's been beat up right now and they say, well, I want my money to come back. What if I can give you a 15% premium bonus right now? Premium bonus, walk away money. You want to wait for the market to give you your 15 back, or we can move it now, protect it from anything going lower, but also give you 15% premium bonus right now to get you back up to where you were. It's pretty cool. And then we got super high rates. Like I said, the way we design our products, I mean, you're just not going to find rates like that. It's like the opposite of a mortgage. When you borrow money, you got to pay more money when rates are high. When you're putting money to work, you want rates to be high because that's when you're going to get stuff. And then when you work with us, again, if we can extend those periods, let you see everything. I mean, geez, your index does 2%. If that's it, if your index did 2% in a year, you're getting 7.5 net to the client because of that rate. Pretty cool. And then that's it, Stephen, because I did want to just kind of review our stuff. Let me do one more thing for you guys. There is a site for you guys called My Annexus, okay? And that website is going to give you guys the opportunity to see all of your business. So again, hopefully you can see this. It's going to list all the products out for you, Nationwide, Athene, and our North American products. You can do your, oh, that was nice. You can do your illustrations from here. I don't have it on mine because yours is specific to you. You will see an electronic applications tab here that runs through the Alliance. So we can help you with your Firelight. If you're in there, we can actually, our ops team can pull those up if you're having issues with your applications or you just wanted somebody to review them real quick before you submit them, we can do that. But reach out to Pam and just Pam at naaleads.com and just say, hey, I need my Annexus access. And she'll send you the invite for that. But this thing has all these different tools and marketing for all the products. But like I said, don't let this stuff overwhelm you guys. Just go back to the basics. If I had one thing, Stephen, to help everybody with a mindset in all the years, I don't know how many times people focus on the indexes and they focus on this is retirement planning and wealth management and stock picking. How do I use what I know over here at the Alliance? How do I transition into a stock picker, money manager? You know, no. This takes a life license, guys. Put the product back over here. We protected you in this area of your life. We protected you in this area of your life. How are we going to protect your lifestyle in retirement? It's that easy. And then the client's going to start asking questions. How much can you lose and feel comfortable? Right? I don't want to say this is easy, but if your company is giving you a match on your savings into your 401k and you're just putting it back every paycheck and you've got your diversification, what happens when you hit 65 and you retire and you get that chunk of money and now you've got 30 years of responsibly distributing that money back to yourself? That is scary, very scary. And here you can give guarantees and just tell that client very simply, no downside risk, guarantees, paychecks, super simple. Okay. Happy to cover anything else.
I love it. Can you bring me up? Do it. All right. So I just like some of the things you're saying is like it's crazy to think about the nationwide index on that product outperforming the S&P by 20%. That is crazy. And I look at those participation rates and I always got to go, wait, there's not a decimal in between any of those numbers. That really
Yeah,
says
nice.
375%. I mean, that's just
Yep.
crazy. And that I hadn't thought about that, but the North American product and the ADL for folks that can't qualify for long-term care or have trouble qualifying for it, man, there's such good stuff, such good stuff. And we will. This is our internal thing, Austin. So we'll keep it internal to just the agents, but we'll give them access to that video if that's okay, just internally to the agents. Let's take questions over Discord, questions over the chat on our private YouTube. The first question I've got, I'm going to go first because I have the microphone. Um, so Austin, I wrote a life policy for the husband. I wrote a life policy for the wife. I ask about their safe money. I find out that they've got 186,000 in a 401k from a previous employer that's just sitting there. What's my next step? Because I want to put it in these products that are that just smoke the rest of the products. What would be, so if I'm that guy, what do I need to do? What's the next 3 things to do to move towards putting that into an Annexus annuity?
Yeah, first get your My Annexus access. Super easy. Again, Pam will just kick out an invite on your email and you'll be ready to go with that. They can also help you, the back office, getting you set up to do the business, right? That's different. And that's just a matter of getting contracted with North American and getting your product training completed. But at the same time, once you get your first case in, you're going to know you're good to go. But your back office is going to support you in making sure that you've got everything in order. Oh, we need a state license from this state. You're here, but you want to write it here. You don't have it. Let's make sure we get it for you, right? Or we don't see your product trainings completed. It's like 20 minutes, right? Here it is. Here's the link. Go do it real quick. Things like that to just the very basics of getting started. But when you uncover that money first, then it's like, okay, well, what are we actually going towards? Like, what are we looking for, right? And so in that initial meeting, to be able to ask clients just simple questions like or even just tell them, like, we can get you some guaranteed income, we've got no downside risk, these things are going to protect you, but let me go back to my team and formulate a plan and we'll walk through some of these solutions for you. Because I think that and again, Stephen, like you don't have to go in knowing that you've got the answers to every single question right now.
Yeah, can you just repeat what you just said? Because that
Mhm.
was, because what happens, Austin, is the agents. I mean, not like Adam Burge and Kath on our team. They're writing a ton of annuities, doing estate planning. They're aggressive, but the average agent, it's like that, like, I may already be contracted with Annexus, which that's the first thing you need to do, Pam at naleads.com. But that line you just said about going back to my team, that was so good.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because when you're uncovering those assets, you do not have to just throw a full-on solution to them the second you see those numbers, right? Nor do we want to. Like, oh my God, I got to get this money today, right? It's like, stop. Hey, I noticed you have this. We do some really cool stuff over here to help protect retirement. Let me put some ideas together with my team, and that'll be part of our follow-up. That's it. I mean, if you called and said, Austin, I found a $180,000 rollover. What do I do? I have no clue what to do. Can you help me? Yeah, let's get started. But you already found the money, and that's step one. And then as you start I've got a client in a week. All right, here's some illustrations. Let's do an individual Zoom. And I always suggest like bring some team members on. Like, hey, let's just sit back and watch what Austin does in regards to getting me ready so you can kind of see the process.
Ooh, I
But
like
get
that.
on the Zoom and we can walk through the numbers and say, look, this is what it does. And just ask the client, like, is this something you like? And if they say, yes or no, or I don't want that all to go to income. Okay, great. Let's adjust those numbers. No big deal. Right? I mean, it's that simple to bring it, it's showing up at Chipotle, right? Walk them through that menu of things that you have and what do you like, what do you don't like, instead of like, you want a burrito? Great. It's at the end of the line. Hope you like it. Hope you like that extra spicy stuff that, that I threw in there for you, but it's not like that. It's like bring them into that process and help them decide. And and then again, if you get objections or questions, same thing. That's fine. I'm going to get my person on and we're going to go from there. I mean, Olga Mathis just this morning called me. She was in a meeting and just had a couple quick questions that the client was asking.
I,
Just
I love it.
keep the process moving forward.
I love it. But so having that resource, guys, like having Austin, having a Nexus in the background, I hope that takes fear out of what to do next, out of it, because the money's out there. The money is out there. If you're writing insurance policies, the money is out there. Just find it, and then a Nexus will help you get it in the right product, and make sure they'll take all the fear out of it. I promise you, these guys are incredible. We got a question?
I texted it to you from Kat.
Oh, all right. We got a question here. Hey, dude, that other stuff you said, that never dawned on me. And it's crazy that it didn't dawn on me. But when people are in a 2-year index and they die in the middle of a 2-year period, like the huge advantage of that daily crediting, that's insane. All right. From Kath, this is from Kath. What was the year or period of the time of outperformance? I'm assuming
Oh,
she's referring to when the index that you guys built actually outperformed the
yeah.
S&P.
It's a way to say, because a lot of times these products with absolutely no risk, clients will look and say, well, I can do something better over here. Now you're just getting into, I mean, how many tens of thousands of mutual funds are there, right? Like that's the problem, is that it's an indexed annuity but with no risk. So if you're focusing on the indexes in that performance, you're going to get yourself stuck in the client forgetting about the income solution and the bonuses and all this good stuff you're doing over here, right? And so when the client talks about the S&P, it's like, first, this is my question, like, why'd you pick that one? Because if all you care about is past performance, I go, why don't you just pick the number one stock in the S&P? And actually, why didn't you pick the number one stock in the NASDAQ? And then the funny thing is like, well, if that's the case, why didn't you pick Turkish bonds for your retirement if those were the number one performing asset last year? And it kind of, it's kind of a funny little way. But back to Kat's question, what I was saying was like turning the numbers around, because we always talk about downside protection. You can't lose money in these products. Well, if the S&P was down 20% in 2022, and your indexed annuity was at zero, you outperformed the S&P by 20% that year. That's what I mean. So next year you might have gotten 6 and the S&P did 20. Well, yeah, because they're giving you all these swings. We're only giving you the upside, right? But in those years, it just kind of clicked in my head where it's like, well, yeah, we were at zero, but we did outperform the markets by that much that year because we got zero and they got negative whatever. That was a big wake up call for people. I was in an office in 2008, and you see people really scrambling. And then when the government got involved and we went in this longest bull market, now everybody's got it figured out,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there's wealth managers out there. They're like, I've been in this business 13 years. And it's like, yeah, well, you've never seen a down market either. And that was a big wake up call to clients again that, oh crap, this can happen. And you do not want to be somebody that's taken a little bit more out of your accounts. And now all of a sudden you take a big 25% hit. This percentage you're taking out every day, if you're doing it yourself, is now a lot higher. How do you dig yourself out of that hole? And when this pool is gone, it's gone. These paychecks stop. That's it.
I
There's
love it.
nothing else left. And that can be really scary.
I love it. I got a question here from Sabrina Floyd. She asks, do we need to get contracted with Annexus? Do we need to contract with Nationwide, Athene, North American independently? So what's the, if I'm not writing any of your products yet, and
Yeah.
just for clarity's sake, guys, with the products they have, like Nationwide does not have the Nationwide product that Annexus has. It's a product that they built. And so it can be a little confusing. So that's a
Yeah.
good question. So help.
Yep.
Can you help us there?
Yep. So you don't get contracted through a Nexus per se. It is with the carriers. You just want to pay attention if it's nationwide slash a Nexus nationwide New Heights. But your contracting is still going to go through nationwide. Okay. Like you'll still get all the full service customer service stuff. So if your policy's in force, you'll get on their website, you can see everything, you can call customer service. When you actually submit business, they will communicate with you on any suitability, things like that, but we can get involved. So that's the thing is like we can still get involved and work with Nationwide for you if need be. But the nice thing is sometimes the client just forgot to cross a T. And as they're processing it, they'll say, hey, can you get the client to do this real quick? Sure, super easy. So you'll get that communication back and forth with them. It is contracting directly with the carriers.
Okay.
And then again, just making sure that the products you're wanting to purchase are covered. You know, if it's North American Secure Horizon and it's the accelerator version, just make sure you've got all your product training for the accelerator version. Make sure you're contracted for the accelerator version. That's all you got to do.
Okay. So just for clarity, they go on the NA website, they do their contracting with Nationwide with Athene, and then how do they get authorized to write the exclusive products you guys have?
Yeah. So again, just ask Pam for the
My
myannexus.com
Nexus. Okay.
site, right? That's where you'll actually do the business. And then again, just the Annexus products are part of that umbrella of Nationwide. And so when you're able to do, like, let's say you do get contracted to do annuities, you can do that one. And then you'll get your other requirements like your product training in place. North American, North American and Nexus products, you'll still get contracted with North American, but it'll still go through, or North American and Nexus, but you'll still go through North American on that.
All right, so that's perfectly clear. Go ahead and get contracted with Athene, with Nationwide, with North American, then email Pam to get your My Annexus enroller, and you'll do the enrolling, you'll do the actual selling through your My Annexus, and that's how you access those exclusive products that the rest of Nationwide, the rest of Athene does not have.
Yep. And your My Nexus, when you go on there, that's why Pam controls it because when you submit business through the e-application, it's connected to you and the alliance.
Perfect. All right, perfect. Mimi Ramiro says, Austin is amazing and he actually answers your call.
Hey, Mimi. I may recognize that name.
That's awesome. You know, it's one of those things, right? Like it's when someone will answer your calls and help like that. That's awesome. So what's the best way for someone to contact you?
Yeah, let me put that in the chat. I'll put my info out.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, what, Chan?
He puts in the Zoom chat. I'll send it to him.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, Mimi's a good example of where we actually ran into a couple of snafus, but we were able to work on them because we were working together. She'd go do something, come back, what's going on? I'm confused on something. I go, and then all of a sudden we just find that right path and get her set up, and she didn't have to sit there and, swim on her own, help me understand some things. So it just made it really easy because she wasn't afraid to just pick up the phone and go.
I love it. And Chan just put your direct contact. Chandler just put the direct contact into our Discord. We have a Discord community for our team. Perfect.
Oh yeah, yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, I put it into the chat here. So
No,
yeah.
no, yeah, no, it's all
Oh,
done. It was
guys.
perfect. He just
Perfect.
took it and popped it in there.
Awesome.
So Brian Allendorf is a new direct guy in San Diego, super sharp guy. Flew out there, met him last week before. He's going to be getting in touch with you. He just found 700,000 that he needs some guidance on. So look for him to be calling you.
Awesome.
Chandler, any other questions in the feeds?
No, just a lot of fire emojis and smiley faces.
So there not a ton of questions, which means you did an awesome job presenting, but there is a ton of like fire emojis and smiles and stuff going
Here
on.
we
So
go.
you lit them up, brother. And
I either put them to sleep or I lit them up. One of the two.
no, you
So
did
it's
good, bro.
good.
All the fire emojis mean that's what you did.
Good.
We use the fire emoji a lot on our team. But
Love it.
awesome. Yeah. So let's me and you talk about New York Stock Exchange. Let's talk about doing some stuff out there in Scottsdale. That's perfect.
Mhm.
Mimi's
That's a
actually
fun
got a
thing to
team
do
of people
too.
growing in Arizona, so we could do some opportunities there. And I appreciate you for being on. The guys here in the office are all young, sharp guys, and they said best carrier slideshow presentation yet. Best looking slides.
Fantastic. Fantastic. When I got them up. Yeah, nice. Nice job, guys.
So awesome. I
Thanks
appreciate you being
again so
on,
much.
brother. Appreciate you being on. I want to respect your time. Thank you for helping the team. And guys, if you're not going with Annexus, email Pam at naaleads.com and get started with Annexus. You will not be able to be competed with these products. I'm just telling you, no one will be able to compete with you because these are exclusive products. The participation rates are insane. Annexus customer service is insane, and I'll just tell you the culture of Annexus is awesome. The sell more hats, like the whole thing, bro.
Oh,
Like I
like the
love the
sell more
culture.
hats.
You know, as you know, we tried to get this worked out with you guys, you know, previously, and then we had to work through some stuff. Of course, you guys being an integrity partner is massive, and you guys are, I mean, you guys are when integrity did that deal, it was like the whole industry went, oh, okay, this is getting real. So I appreciate you, I appreciate your culture, appreciate you helping my people, and I want to thank you in advance for all the help that you're going to give to my guys and my ladies out there as we are moving aggressively into estate planning and moving aggressively into finding and protecting people's money. So appreciate you, brother. Guys, let's end the call there. I know we've got a million things to get done. We've got family reunion coming up. I can't wait to be in Salt Lake City. We got a brand new guy in Salt Lake City, brand new direct. He was so awesome. He came to the meeting. He was all fired up. Just contracted, wrote his first business. Like that's what this business is about. That's what gets me excited. That's what gets me rocking. I can't wait to be in Florida. We got so much good stuff coming up, and then we've got the end of the month in Anaheim. I'm telling you, fly in. Fly if you're a leader, get some people there and fly in. We are going to light that place on fire. So that's what we got this week, guys. Holly and I love you. We want you to win more than you can possibly imagine. Let's get out. Let's get after it. Thanks again, Austin.